Good morning. We are back again. You're watching QTV this morning. I am Ibrahim Abalde. Thank you very much for joining us. It's a pleasure always to have you, glued to your screen and watch this program. So I'm with Mr. Adedrame. Good morning, Mr. Ade.
Yeah, good morning. And I believe we have a truncated show today.
Today you are representing PDOIS.
Whoever. Yes.
You look toy.
Every day I will represent another political party.
I like that about you.
So tomorrow I'll be UDP or...
Mr. Bodge is repping SFL. Is it Sobea?
Yes.
Sobea.
Yes.
There you go.
I didn't tell you.
And who are you repping?
You didn't tell me.
Your own party.
I seems to represent Sobea
Yeah,
too.
exactly. You see?
I didn't know that. Yeah, so it's good to have you gentlemen. I mean, sharing this platform again, we got to learn a lot from you people, So it's good to have you. Thank you, Mr. Mboch, for always willing to review the papers.
And I'm sure we also sort of learn
We'll
from you
learn
people.
from you. Yes, who are these people?
You know what I mean?
You people.
You people.
Yeah.
Yes. So, I mean, Mr. Ade, today we'll take a look at the code from the code and the newspaper review. And we'll be engaging Dr. Ernest Rubin Aubi.
Obi.
You said Obi. Okay, Chairman Students Revolving Loan Scheme. And we'll take a look at the Tertiary Education Trust Fund as well. This is going to be our program for today, Mr. Ade.
Yeah.
And probably we might establish connection with our
colleagues who are abroad. Otherwise, it will be short and sweet. But,
exactly.
it will be about quality, not quantity. So
Yeah.
that's fine.
So to our viewers, I mean, online and on satellite, thank you, the likes of Ibrahim Jawara. I mean, it's 4 a.m. in the U.S. at his end, but he keeps following this program because he got to know a lot about the things happening in the Gambia, and he want to be current, and this is the program that he chose to watch.
We're pleased, and we hope he keeps on watching, and he keeps telling other people to watch.
Keep going.
Yeah. So hit us with the quote then, sir.
When you are thirsty in the desert, follow the birds. They will lead you to the water. This proverb is from Namibia. And the capital of Namibia is Windhoek. Am I right? Windhoek. Is it a German sort of
It is.
Windhoek?
Windhoek.
Sort of a German,
Stroke.
Yeah.
German sounding name. That's fine, yes. It is true. And do you know why?
Were they colonized by the Germans?
See,
There you
you're
go.
getting there.
I'm getting there. Dekandor Daiwale. Lola all of Jaiwa. Yeah, so
Absolutely.
I mean, so follow the birds. They know where the water is.
And of course, in Namibia, they have the Namib Desert.
Yeah.
So the thing about the desert, when you are thirsty in the desert, they know about deserts, and they have quite a big
So
desert in Namibia.
there's an experience there.
Yes, but yes, I mean, I guess this is about being led by those who have experience, and they know what they're doing. So, you're walking along a path and some guy says, oh, I used to trod this path on my way to school, and I know the bits that are safe, that you're not going to fall over, you're not going to this, then, follow that person, follow the lead of the person, somebody who's been there, done that.
Yeah. So there's a Wolof proverb that is similar to this. The Wolof proverb said, Kula njeke si nek bu lindem, mola ne dugal toge borbi. You understand? A person who entered in a dark room before you, it's the only person that can tell you, enter and sit this side. It's safer. You understand?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's similar, Mr. Boyd.
Exactly. And what I like about this is both literal and metaphorical.
Yeah, this is
because
it.
I understand that actually birds do lead you to water.
They do
Their flight
indeed.
patterns and that sort of
That's
thing.
reality.
It can save you literally.
That's
and the metaphor then follows.
That's right.
Isn't it?
Yes.
So just sort of be careful
And
to be able to identify who are actually the birds.
well, that's right. So,
If you feel like in our situation, isn't it? That's
quite.
who are the people. that
And
I
also,
should
in a wider sense, if you are seeking knowledge you know, knowledge that would improve your life and so on. You know, go after the ones who have accumulated and know how to disseminate that knowledge. Then you will learn. As you said, you know, you learn from you people every day. Yes, we are older. I'm not sure whether we are wiser, but we are certainly older.
The older the wine, the sweeter the juice. The older the berries, the sweeter the juice.
I think the blacker the berry is the phrase.
Yes. So, I mean, recently I subscribed to a channel and they keep sending different proverbs and
okay.
I keep downloading them. Some of them I send them on our
Was this one of them?
He said, a wise man doesn't cough when he has diarrhea.
I saw that one. Yeah.
And another one said, dogs do not actually prefer bones to meat. It is just that no one ever given them meat. and it's true.
I like that one.
And it's true.
I certainly like that one.
They prefer meat. Give them meat and see.
Well, this is it, because, you know, they keep saying, oh, dogs like bone. No, put bone there and meat there. See which one they'll go after. You know, yeah, that's I like that one.
I will try to examine it and see.
When you don't give them an option, all you give them is a bone. You keep convincing yourself, oh, they love bone, that's why I'm giving them bone. But there's nothing there, you know, just they can sharpen their teeth, and that's about it.
Exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, we'll take a short break, and after the break, then we'll take a look at the stories. And just a reminder, today there will be a special program on QTV as to the arrival of the president from the Meet the People tour. And we will, of course, be having a panel. And at the same time, we'll be having our reporters, I mean, sending us live feeds as to what is happening as the president enters the West Coast region and, you know, the KMC, I mean, towards his residence at the State House. So I am pretty sure when he returns, he would also be having other meetings, you know, within the greater Banjul area as well, Mr. Mbodj. And I believe that would be a very interesting coverage.
Well, it will be a spectacle, I suppose.
Yeah.
That's really what it is. It's a huge event now. Everybody's going to cover it. Crowds will come out and there'll be all kinds of talk. For some of us, this is an interesting extra, but I would like to think that the important thing about the Meet the People tour was the discussions, what they've taken from it, what they will act on. For the fanfare, well, the fanfare is just there. I mean, it's very secondary, you know, and it all seems like that.
So we will discuss this after the break. I mean, let's talk about Meet the People tour, the various meetings that were conducted by the president and his cabinet, you know, ministers as well. So we would be able to engage them on that. So we'll be right back after the break.
Opticalia, Gambia's leader in optical care, with 5 locations offering the best in visual health. With cutting-edge European technology, Opticalia delivers single vision lenses in just 20 minutes. At Opticalia, we care about our future. Eye exams are free for individuals under 18, ensuring everyone has access to quality eye care. But it's not just about vision. Opticalia also provides advanced audiology services to ensure your hearing health is in the best hands. Our audiology services offer European standard hearing aids and diagnostics, ensuring everyone can hear clearly. Whether it's testing or treatment, you can trust Opticalia for your auditory care. Opticalia offers European standard products, fair prices, and exceptional value all under one roof. Visit Opticalia at the Tropic Shopping Center near Senegambia or call us on 7767-121 or at any of our regional branches. Banjul 7767-126, Brikama 7767-123, Farafenni 7767-124, Basse 7767-125. Opticalia, love what you see and hear.
I am Ibrahim Abalde, and this is QTV this morning. Thank you very much for always tuning in. And now we will delve into the headlines on the Standard newspaper. The police PRO is on one of the stories of the Standard papers, and he said, minor impregnated by guardian dies at childbirth. That's should we call it a tragedy, or should we call it an unfortunate?
No, not
situation?
unfortunate. That is a shocking,
It's a shocking,
disgraceful and
disgraceful.
tragic. Unfortunate doesn't even come. I know, and I have to say this now. You've given us the platform. I hear shocking things happen here in the Gambia, and people say that's unfortunate.
Unfortunate.
Trust me, 99% of the time we use that word inappropriately. This is not unfortunate. It is shocking. It is tragic. It is disgraceful. It is many things.
It
Unfortunate.
is uncalled for, and there should be a sample
Unfortunate
set.
is not one of them.
Severe, severe samples should be set. I mean, to make sure these kind of things don't repeat. Well, imagine.
It's not about this kind of
Exactly.
thing. Don't repeat. I mean, just the offender should face the full force of the law, whatever the law allows. Because it's not as if even if this person was sentenced to 40 years or 50, doesn't mean someone else somewhere else is not going to commit it. These crimes have happened throughout humanity, and they will continue to happen.
Exactly.
All you can ask for is that if somebody commits a crime of this nature, they should face the full.
But
force of
probably
the law.
if actions are thickened, I mean, it might reduce the number,
No, it will not.
you know, of people that commit
There are
these type of
countries where people in America, they kill people, electric chair and all sorts of things. Does it stop murders in America? Have they gone down? No, they have not. People will do these things. You know, all you can do is that the law must come down hard on them when it happens. It's not going to stop it. I mean, in countries where, in China, you know, they're telling you that, you know, they've stamped out corruption. So ask them, why is it they executed over 1,000 people for corruption last year alone, if they've stamped out corruption? You know, the death penalty is what you face, and yet people are still corrupt. You know, so these things don't, you know, it's a punishment, it's a severe punishment, but it is hardly ever a deterrent.
Yeah. So, Mr. Ambochu,
This
to
is
an
okay,
extent
okay.
where man will commit such a crime against a minor.
We see this all over the world. This is what human beings are like this. We keep saying that all the time, particularly in the context of corruption. It doesn't mean the Western people are not corrupt.
right.
Anywhere you go, people are just what they are. Do you have the right systems, as it were, to encourage certain behavior and discourage others? And this is it. One of the ways you discourage stuff like this is to bring the full brunt, as it were, of the law onto whoever committed these things.
What's the
That's all that humans can
biggest
do.
talking point in the United States this week? The release or the non-release of the Epstein files. Who was Epstein? A financier, multimillionaire,
Maybe
who was a
billionaire,
pedophile. He's a pedophile.
Absolutely.
You know, people who associated with him and had sex with children underage. You know, the likes of Prince Andrew has now lost he's no longer a prince.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
it.
he's had his
So
royal
Andrew
title stripped.
Mountbatten Windsor, no more Prince.
No more
Exact-
Prince
Exactly.
Andrew. You know, and for them that is the ultimate disgrace. And you know, he's not been sent to, and of course Epstein killed himself whilst he was in prison, and you know. So, but is that going to stop pedophiles? The release of the files, the embarrassment, and maybe the possible prosecution of more people? It probably won't. But if people are guilty, they should be punished.
Well, let's talk about society, how some of our Maslow syndromes will try to muffle some of these things. And then at some point, a child will not be allowed to mention a person who either raped her or who impregnated her, you know, as far as the family lineage is concerned. I mean, that individual will be asked to not to mention certain things.
I've mentioned on this platform before a friend of mine, and I know she doesn't mind me mentioning this case. She's now studying for a PhD, but she was raped by her uncle, her dad's brother. And when she found out about 6-7 years ago that he had raped another child in the family, and she went to the police in Sierra Leone, her own parents stopped talking to her. They said she was the one bringing disgrace on the family, not the rapist, not the pedophile. That tells you how warped. Sometimes, not everybody who will react like that. Some people will say, yes, you should have done that. Some families will say that, but many families, they want it swept under the carpet. And as I said, they accuse her of being the one bringing shame on the family because she went to the police. So it's shocking. But that's sometimes reality. It's one case I know, and you can't say everybody behaves like that or every family is going to react like that. But I think we see a lot of that sort of thing in, as you mentioned, the so-called Maslaha syndrome, where we want to quieten everything down. You hear about somebody being knocked over and killed by a reckless driver who didn't have a license and was driving a car that was not fit to be on the road, and the family go and beg, and the person never gets prosecuted or sent to prison. If we jailed every reckless driver who killed or injured somebody, trust me, in the Gambia, our prisons will be full to overflowing. They will be full to overflowing.
Careless driving.
It's look, my own car was wrecked by a 19-year-old who didn't have a license, and his lorry did not have a brake. It was parked. It wasn't even on the road. And nothing happened to him. Nothing.
Mr. Ade, someone just hit my bumper, my front bumper this morning, and he didn't even stop. And he speed up to Ross. I rushed against him, and I stopped in front of him. I parked my car in front of him and I blocked the traffic. I said to him, look, you did this. You didn't even stop to tell me I am sorry.
Mine was quite weird because it wasn't very far from where they have the kind of mobile police unit set up. And there was a policeman standing on a box directing traffic, and so they saw it.
Oh, wow.
And then when the guy was apprehended, because he didn't run or anything, but he was obviously caught on the spot, the police were asking me what I wanted to do. I said, he's committed a crime. You arrest him, you charge him. Why are you asking me? What's it got to do with me? Do what the law says. But as I said, his boss came and pleaded for him, and he was asking me, oh, don't press charges. I said, press charges? Guy committed a crime in front of the police. Ask the police what they're going to do. As I said, this was, 3 years ago? Nothing happened to him,
So he didn't even...
19-year-old, no license, a huge truck carrying rubbish that they collected from various places that had no brakes. And he should serve a very long sentence in a serious country. But we're not. We're not serious about things like that.
Everything is negotiable.
Yeah, quite.
It's an extraordinary sort of world view, as it were. That is why we're not doing too well with statutory law. You have to enforce this in a certain way, processes and procedures and stuff. Whereas perhaps with this other sort of frame, moral frame we have, everything is negotiable. If you're just willing to forgive, and you have to forgive people, forget it. You know how many times I'll be in a taxi and the driver would infringe one rule or another, and the police will come, and then the people inside will be like, Balalko, forgive him. You know what I mean? So you have all these sort of world views, as it were, these different normative frames competing at the same time, coexisting, not competing,
well, you see,
coexisting at the same time.
There are people who believe in what the law says. You understand? Yeah. Even if there is a Masla syndrome, Balalko, the law is the law. Let's go to the law. Let's do what the law says. At some point, people are not distracted. Some people are not distracted what society will have to say. What is real is real. And when you behave like that in society, they'll look at you as a different individual. He is an individual of his own.
Yeah, there's no arguing with that. Well, the very reason we have that phrase is because it exists in our society, the Maslaha syndrome, as we call it. We have that phrase because it exists, because it's not alien to us. You go to some countries, they can't even get their head around that concept, so it's different. But of course, there are people here who believe that when you infringe or you break the law, you should face the consequences. Of course there are. There are many people who
But,
believe
but
that.
this is it. It's almost sort of pointless saying that, because here what we're saying is the general thrust of behavior, interaction is that. So the individual exceptions you're talking about, they really don't have a dent in the general current of behavior. This is what we're talking about. That phrase, critical mass. You need a critical mass, as it were, of people, behaving in a certain way to really shift.
Yeah, I mean, as I mentioned, when you have the situation where the police are asking me what I'm going to do, I said, look, my car is comprehensively insured, so my insurance company will deal with it. So from my side, that's it. On your side, do what you have to do. Do what the law says. But when it's the police asking me what I'm going to do, then that's a bit worrying. Because they shouldn't be.
They should know what
They
to
should
do.
have nothing to do with what I want to do
They
to the
should
guy.
know what to do.
Nothing at all.
So Barrow urges Dabo to drop presidential ambition and join him. Should we call this an opportunity for Dabo to join Barrow? Or should we call this a provocation?
It's teasing, really. Somebody who has shown that he wants your job and you're telling him, join me. I think Dabo was saying, hang on, we've been here before. Aren't you the guy who said after 3 years you'd step down for me? So this is, like you said, maybe a provocation is the right word. He's just winding him up, really. It's not a serious offer in any...
At all.
I can't see it as
So
being-
Barrow boasts, of conquering electricity problem nationally. That's what he said. But some places are still experiencing on and off. And, I'm saying this, probably the president might not know there are areas that have been affected by electric problem. If you go to places like Talinding, they'll tell you, we will have for 2 days and these people will have for 2 days.
I think we're careful here, because when the president and members of the cabinet talk about universal electricity, they don't also mean 24/7. They've never claimed that, and they wouldn't dare claim that, because that is not your experience, my experience, or practically the experience of anybody watching this. They've never claimed that it's 24/7. What they're saying is that almost every corner of the country that previously did not have, and when Osman Jatta, our reporter, went on the Meet the People tour the last time, that was the thing that, when he came into the office, was the first thing he spoke about. He said villages that he had visited 5-6 years before that had never had electricity. He said the excitement of the fact that they now had electricity. He didn't say it was constant. He didn't say it was 24/7, but they now had electricity. And I think that's the claim that he and others are making. They're not saying it's all year round, if only. That nobody could make that claim.
Yeah. All right. So let's see. The conquering electricity problem in the Gambia. I think even bigger nations at some point they cannot conquer 100%.
South Africa.
There are instances. There are instances where
Mr. Mboj did a couple of African News Roundup about the about over 18 months ago in South Africa, Mr. Mboj, where electricity problems were so almost brought the government down.
Absolutely. This is one area, God knows how long it will take. The new ambition of integrating renewables. Maybe we'll make more of the solar thing because of, we've got the sun. Maybe in the future this thing will happen. But so far, anybody, all over the continent really, talking about conquering electricity, the energy area. No, not quite, Mr. President. Of course, we can see the improvements you're making. Everybody appreciates that. But there's a lot more to do because ultimately we want electricity 24/7. Why not? Other countries have done it. Why can't we do it? We understand all of that. So we just understand that, look, this is Meet the People tour. You have all these politicking, isn't it? Over the years, we've seen how sometimes his speeches would be would be on borderline.
Borderline inflammatory.
Stuff like that.
Really.
So let's take it in that spirit. It's just the politicking rhetoric and all of that. One sees the improvements, obviously, but we have a long way to go. We all know that.
Yeah, I mean, for the people who are in the areas where, as I said, you know, when Usman Jatta came and he said now they have electricity, he said they were so excited about that. Then yes, there are many more like that, but you know, we still have a long way to go before everybody has it and before it is, you know, 24/7. But vastly more places have electricity now than did 10 years ago. That's indisputable. Any more exciting, interesting stories, sir?
Yeah, I'm trying to.
You're scanning through your papers.
Yes.
We don't have the physical ones today, so the more.
Nyamina residents, I mean, renew demands for roads and hospitals. I mean, in Nyamina.
It's one of the interesting things. I saw somebody was criticizing the fact that you know, people were still making these demands, and they were sort of somehow President Barrow. And I said, well, the guy's only been in power since 2017, and so they can't blame him for the fact that people are claiming we've never had good roads, or we've never had a hospital here, or we've never had a good school here. You can't blame him for everything that happened before he was president. But you know, as Mboj says, there are things that we can see that he's doing. But the fact that he needs to do more is again not in dispute, really. And so yes, that's been a kind of recurrent theme throughout this particular tour.
That's it. And when you have limited resources, you can just do so much. It will take a long time to really cover, as it were, the whole turf. So you can just do things incrementally by installments and that sort of thing. Let's be clear, isn't it? When it comes to certain infrastructure, be it roads, or maybe the water supply, you know, compared to before Barrow, what he's doing now. So, electricity. So in these areas, one can see measurable improvements. There's no denying that. Nobody can ever deny that. Perhaps sometimes what we say is that when you look at other areas, should we call it the cost of living stuff, they appear not to be able to do much, because when prices go up, they don't really come down. We've covered stories, remember Serekunda Market, that one, you know, the vendors, sellers complaining about this, everything is so expensive now. That's it. So there are the difficult ones, perhaps I wouldn't call them intractable, even though they might seem like it. Yeah, there are the difficult bits, and there are perhaps, maybe some might call it the low-hanging fruit, and he's doing well there. So it's a mixed picture. And what you don't want is that when they use the successes for it to be a kind of blanket improvement, because I've done ABC well, therefore stop complaining about DEF.
X, Y, and Z.
You know, take out the positive bits and forget about that. So this is really when we come and complain and say, yeah, you're doing well, but it doesn't mean that it's evenly spread. It's all over the place. You're doing well in some areas, not so well in others.
So before we engage Momodu Gajaga, he's on the line currently in Saudi Arabia. We would be doing this story. Ousainou Bojang trial next conclusion as defense presents final witness.
You need to tell the viewers who Ousainou Bojang is.
He was accused of shooting and gunning down the two police officers at the Sukuta Jabang highway. When we mention the Sukuta Jabang incident, I mean, most people will connect and understand what really happened. If they know.
But yes, you're right. And so the case has been on for a while now, and they're kind of running out of witnesses, and we've been following it. Our friend Nicholas Bass, who has been reporting for us, has been following it astutely. In fact, I apologize, he was trying to call me as I was coming into the studio, couldn't take his call. It might be about that, I'm not sure, but it's reaching a conclusion, we think. Don't know what the verdict will be, but it's getting to, because I don't think there are any more witnesses to be called. So,
and for me, the fascinating thing is, from what we can gather from the witnesses, the testimonies, the main bone of contention, or at least one of them, was he actually the right person?
Big bone of contention.
Big one. Exactly. Did we apprehend the right one?
This is it.
Yes, at the end of the time, thinking of all that happened, all these years that are spent in just trying to prove whether he is wrong or right, and you realize, okay, it's not the right person.
It can happen. It can happen. I mean, because that's the whole sort of aspect of the legal system.
Yeah, you know, the law is there to either free you or to
convict.
Or to convict you.
or convict you.
But
you're right. I mean, it's taken a while now, but you know, without sort of, we can discuss the case because it's in open court. But you know, some of the evidence has kind of cast doubt as to whether he was the shooter, and you know, whether he had the means, whether he had the opportunity, and whether he was there. I mean, he tried to bring evidence, phone records with himself and a British friend, where they were supposedly having a WhatsApp conversation at the time the shooting took place. So, depending on what weight you give.
And there was a shoe evidence as well. I mean, the shoe that was found on the ground was presented to the court. I mean,
there's an O.J. Simpson moment.
And they realized, okay, that is not his shoe.
It wasn't the right shoe size.
That was not his shoe size.
So it can't really be his shoe unless he was wearing shoes that were not his size, just to commit the crime.
And what was it the lawyer said? Was it Jenny Cochran?
Cochran.
Yes, Cochran.
If the glove...
if it doesn't fit...
If the glove don't fit, you must acquit. And that was in the O.J. Simpson trial. So if the shoe don't fit, maybe they should acquit. But it's been a fascinating one, and I think it's one of those cases where in years to come those studying the law will be fascinated by the case, because, and that's the whole beauty of some of these trials, is that at one moment you're convinced, and then you hear evidence that contradicts, or somebody comes on the stand, they give what seems to be persuasive evidence, and then under cross-examination it all crumbles away. It's not as firm as it seemed. Suddenly, oh, well, no, I'm not sure whether I saw this person's side, the back, or their head, or whatever. You know, when minutes earlier they were telling you how, oh, yes, that was the person I saw. So, you know, that's really why we have, you know, lawyers, because they're meant to kind of, particularly when it comes to cross-examining somebody who's given evidence, you've given evidence, and they've led you in that evidence, you've given it, and then you sit there thinking, yeah, I've told my story. And then the lawyer gets up and, my lord, Mr. Witness, you claim to have seen my client. Do you wear glasses? And he said, yes, sir, I do. Why are you not wearing your glasses now? Can you see me? How many fingers am I holding? You know, because of the distance you claim to have been from the, you know, so all those things come into play. So where before you were,
well,
sort of 12 Angry Men, you should watch that movie.
Yeah. I mean, do we have the jury here in the Gambia?
We don't have a jury system.
We don't have a jury system.
We don't have a jury system.
I think that would have been more effective.
I don't know. There are people who've been sentenced to death and even been killed by a jury, and then after they've been killed, it was realized that they you can't bring the person back, and yeah, so no, it's one system, and you know, we have our own system, and in other countries they have different systems, and of course in some countries they don't even name an accused, they just
so we have Mamadou Gajaga on the line from Saudi Arabia. And Mr. Ade, and I know you'll be very happy to engage Gajaga.
I'm happy to engage Gajaga, but I also have to apologize to him, because there's a story of his that was meant to come on the news last night, and we ran out of time, sadly. So, Mr. Gaj, although, you know, we sort of had it all prepped to go. Maybe but, well, thank you for joining us, Mr. Gaj, and I know you were looking forward to the athletics more than anything else. Can you hear us? Mr. Gaj, are you there?
Hello, Gajaga.
You see what I was saying the other day?
Yeah, establishing the connections.
And in case anybody's watching this show for the first time, I had said when I sat in Mr. Balde's place that I hate doing these connecting phone calls because bizarrely, for all the technological advances that human beings have made, this seems to be one of the hardest, not just for us. You see it on CNN, BBC, Al Jazeera, trying to link up with somebody and the like. So Mr. Gajaga, we'll try again. I don't know if our producer has been able to establish a connection. He's in Riyadh. He's covering the Islamic Solidarity Games.
Yeah, Gajaga is on the line now.
Mr. Gaj.
Yes, Mr. Daraman, good morning.
Good morning. I hope you can hear us. And if you didn't, I was apologizing for the fact that your story with the Taekwondo person did not come again yesterday because we ran out of time, sadly. But nonetheless, I was also saying that I know that you were looking forward to the athletics more than anything else. So I just wondered if you can update us on the situation so far, particularly with our Gambian athletes.
Fantastic night for the Gambian team in athletics yesterday or at night at the Prince Faisal Stadium, where the Gambian girls, contingent of girls, did very well in their various events in the 100 meters. Aisha Tusi reached the finals, was just a whisker away from winning the bronze medal. It was just the final lap that she kind of slowed down a little bit and came out in the third position. In the semifinals, she came out second in Heat 1.
Okay.
And for the other athlete in the women's category in the 100 meters, Nimansata Jaune came out third, but overall couldn't finish in the timing rankings where she would be able to qualify for the finals.
Okay.
But Aisha Tusi definitely made the headlines, not because she won a bronze medal or a gold or a silver, but she was just a whisker away and improved on her timing from the semifinals, that is in the heat of the semifinals, to reach the finals and, getting fourth position in the final. She was nearly there, but eventually, unfortunately, she couldn't make it to the podium. Yeah, and she was in tears after the race. Yes, she knows she was so close, but yet so far to finish on the podium. But that was fantastic for the women's. The male, not so good. Adama Jame experience has run. This is his fourth Islamic Games competition since he started in 2013. And, in the men's 200 meters, he came out third in his race, which was also not enough to get him to the finals of the men's 200 meters. And again, another male race in the 200 meters. Aliou Diouf represented the Gambia, and Aliou also finished fifth. He couldn't make it to the finals of the men's 200 meters, especially towards the finish line.
Mr. Gaj, when you and I spoke before you went, one of the things we said when we'd seen how fantastic the venues were, we said that at least every athlete going there should improve on their personal best. Did any of them do that, at least that? I know they might have run kind of faster in the second race than they did in the first, but did any of them improve on their personal bests?
Not at all. For now, they improved on the timings that they did in their earlier races rather than their personal best.
Right.
Athletes like Ibrahima Kamara are way off their personal best because he is the only Gambian who ran a sub 10 seconds. You remember somewhere in the Stockholm Diamond League?
That's right.
Yes, but way above that. So the timings were not good enough in terms of their personal best.
I mean, did any of them give an explanation as to why that might be? Or lack of preparation, lack of, whatever? I mean, did any of them give a reason? That, like, none of them were able to kind of better
Exactly. Ibrahima Kamara did.
Yeah.
Yes. Ibrahima Kamara did when I interviewed him yesterday on the sidelines of the women's 100 meters semifinals and also the finals. He said it came at the time of the season when most of them have closed their season in terms of competitions. even though he was training in France, but he has suffered a groin injury and he's been nursing that groin injury and he has to come here and compete. His country has already registered him and, he would have to do his best. But at this time of the season, he said it wasn't the best of time for him in terms of competition. He's nursing a groin injury, he said, and, that is on the healing process, basically. So that's why he couldn't do well as expected.
Mr. Gaj, I'm glad you said that because one of the things I was going to bring up is that I looked at the athletics calendar and the kind of global athletics calendar ended 2 months ago. So these athletes would have wound down saying, we've come to the end of the athletics calendar and now we have to kind of ramp up again for these games. I mean, if you get a chance, can you kind of have a word with the officials and say maybe it needs to be closer to if they want it to be a separate games, it needs to be closer to the end of the global athletics calendar because they finished about 2.5, nearly 3 months ago.
Absolutely, yes. So that would definitely affect the athletes who usually compete for the Gambia in the Olympics, in the World Championships and other competitions. Maybe unless if the officials of this competition want it to be completely separate, completely different from what everyone else does. But usually these sporting events are seasonal, just like the complaint that the Africa Cup of Nations should align with other competitions around the world, rather than having that players play in the mid of the Africa Cup of Nations.
Thank you.
Mboch has a question.
Just one more. More broadly, though, what were sort of so far? What have been sort of the headline-grabbing performances more broadly? No, I don't think he's heard that right.
We've lost sound from you. Yeah. We can see your mouth moving, but we can't hear you.
We can't hear him. Yeah.
Try again. No, still nothing.
Anyway, thank you, Momodu Gajaga. So thank you very much for that update.
And then technology proving my point yet again.
So we have Ansumana Eso Nyasitu on the line with the Minister of Basic and Secondary Education, Mrs. Habibatu Drame, and it will be important for Eso to engage her as far as the tour is concerned and what is her ministry doing when it comes to basic and secondary education improvement in the Gambia. So, Ansumana, good morning. Good morning, Ansumana. All right, while they try establishing that, Mr. Ade, it's like it's happening again.
It's just trying to, prove my point.
It's gonna,
right. I'm sorry. I mean, I don't take any joy in this, but it does. I do find it perplexing that across the world we get this kind of thing. But we'll keep trying if we can link up with ESO, because it would be good to hear from the Minister of Basic and Secondary Education as to what she has seen, because I saw one where she visited an area where there was
Gajaga mentioned something important about Ibrahim Kamara. I mean, he got a muscle injury.
Groin injury.
Yes, exactly. So, first of all, he should not have been registered to be part of the games. Maybe they should have given the opportunity to another individual.
No, I mean, it doesn't work like that with athletics, because at the time you registered, perhaps you did not, because you have to register by a certain time, because they have to give accreditation to people and so on. So it's a long process.
Yeah, Eso is back.
Yeah.
Eso is here. Hello, Eso Nyasi. All right, Ansumana Eso Nyasi there looking...
and we can see the Minister is primed with her,
so Eso,
laptop.
we are not getting you in the studios. I mean, it's important for us to establish that connection with you.
I think we have him now.
Hello, Eso.
I can hear you guys.
Yes, so we are getting you. We are getting you now, loud and clear.
Well, I was saying, I actually never left. I guess it's the network failing us. But, I mean, good morning to you and Ade again, and Moj, and to the audience out there. I'm happy to, hear from all of you.
Yes. So, I mean, it's important for us to engage Dr. Habibatu Drame, the Minister of Basic and Secondary Education, And we will just allow you to go ahead with that conversation. And good morning, Ma.
Good morning. Good morning.
How is the talk? How is the talk going? I hope you had enough rest. I mean,
Rest.
yes, today.
I do, and it has been exciting so far.
Cool.
Yeah. All right, Eso.
Good. Yeah, so as you are aware, I mean, we've done quite a number of meetings and site visits. We've gone to some of the remotest communities in this country, if you like. But one thing that really stood out for me in this tour is the demand for roads, but also the demand for schools. I think the school expansion projects in certain areas have inspired some of these communities. And the Honorable Minister, you've also had opportunity to address some of these communities that we've been to. What really has stood out for you in this tour?
I began. It has so far been exciting. This is not only a tour to converse with the people, but also a tour to reflect in terms of the developments that have been going on in this country. We have seen developments in the various areas. In terms of roads, we have seen major improvements. In fact, we have heard from the communities themselves attest to the improvements some of those interventions brought to their lives. We saw one in West. It was the community themselves that came out very strongly to emphasize on the importance and the ease that such interventions brought to their lives and their day-to-day businesses or administration. So we saw also in the areas of electricity, we have registered a lot of improvements. Communities that for the past decades, let's say for the past 50 or more years, haven't dreamt of having electricity, so electricity reaching them. In the areas of hospital, we saw the major improvements, etc. So in the areas of education also, we saw significant improvements. And maybe that is why we haven't had people raise a lot of concerns in the areas of education, because the trajectory has changed when it comes to access to especially senior secondary education in this country, upper basic education. No community now leaves their community to get to the Greater Banjul area to access education. It has been spread far and wide, and that really excites us. And the communities we have been to, we saw some of the new classrooms that we
All right, it's like, yeah, we've
temporarily lost signal there.
Sound,
Yeah.
but I think
I think we're back. I think we're back. Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So what I was just saying is that it has been quite exciting. We are not only extending school facilities to the schools, but also manner. In that we have also started introducing technology, extending technological services to the schools, and that's why you now can see computer laboratories in schools with computers exposing students to the new ways of teaching and learning. So that is a major development and improvement, which we intend to expand and cover more schools. By far, we want to get to every school in this country. And the data we gave in our meeting in Sarip Pirasu in terms of developments and improvements in the areas of schools is clear evidence that we are really attaining the mandate of the sector in terms of our policy when it comes to access to inclusive quality education for every child in this country.
Before I allow my colleagues to come in, you mentioned Sarat Pirashu. I recall you taking to the podium yourself to address the gathering there. But what caught my attention was when one of the speakers appealed for the school in the area to be upgraded to a basic cycle school. I saw the president called you immediately. Tell us about that conversation.
Yes, so we will assess that. Just to say that across the country, if a community does not have an upper basic or senior secondary, it means there is another community less than kilometers or so by the side that has those facilities, and we have to be very clear. It also came out in Sandu, and when the matter came out in Sandu, we realized that Diabu is just 1 kilometer. 1 kilometer is just 15 minutes walk for a child. So access, like I said, has been very far and wide, but we will continue to assess the situations and to ensure that the demands of the people are met. Yes.
Colleagues, any questions for the Honorable Minister?
On the strategies to improve teacher training and professional development.
Okay, our reforms has. Okay, because I'm hearing myself, so
yes, we are getting you loud and clear in the studios.
The laptop, yeah.
Okay, great. Yes, in terms of teacher professional development, it is at the heart of our work. The current engagements we have with Learning Mastermind, a Ghanaian professional company that has come to support our foundational learning, has an aspect of it that deals with teacher training and development. This is to help our teachers to be more prepared to deliver the educational services. So that reform has begun, and we will continue to strengthen the gaps that we have been able to identify in terms of teaching to ensure that the services are delivered much more effectively and efficiently. We have a unit in the ministry or department, if I may say, that is in charge of in-service teacher trainings. They have been doing to conduct such trainings in consultation or in collaboration with the University of Education, the former Gambia College, just to ensure that our teachers are prepared enough to do the work.
Yes. So, Ansumana Esonyasi, one question from me before I hand over to Mr. Momodu Mboj. I mean, there was a pilot, sort of a pilot project that was going on to introduce local language teaching in schools. So, Honorable Minister, we just want to understand how far have we gone? Do you think this is feasible? Do you think this can be practiced in schools?
That initiative has actually started. We have begun piloting the initiative because that's the only way we can know whether it is viable or not. The indications are there. All the indications are there that this is viable because we have assessed those schools in which the pilot project is being conducted, that is the use of the local languages. And when the assessments were done, vis-a-vis schools that don't have these initiatives piloted, we saw that the schools that have the initiatives piloted results. I mean, the students are producing better results in terms of reading, in terms of their understanding, comprehension, and this is what we intend to enhance in the sector. We found out that literacy and numeracy in our lower basic schools, that is the foundational level, have been very weak. The statistics show that only 10% of every Gambian child between the ages of 7 to 10 can read. So that is an alarming statistics that we need to change to ensure that when you begin at the foundational level, at least to some extent, we have like a benchmark to say that every child should be able to perform at a certain level before they transit to upper levels. And this is working currently. The results that we have been receiving are impressive. And by far, if you also look at it, vis-a-vis what is happening in other parts of the world. For example, let's take China as an example. Teaching and learning in China is done in their mother tongue, the Chinese language, and you could see that the people resonate very well with that reality because, of course, that is the language that is spoken. We also are very much comfortable in our own local language. I remember when I stood in Sarepiraso and spoke Sarahule, I felt very comfortable because that's the language of the mother tongue. So understanding becomes easy, even with complex matters. It becomes much more easy in your own local languages. So we have very high hopes since it worked in other countries, especially in Ghana and other sub-regional countries. We are also hopeful that it will work in our context. Only that we need to do it right, and that's why we are engaging with any partner that we know can support this initiative, and inshallah, we are hoping to deliver it well to ensure that our learning at the foundational level are improved to support the child to transit very easily and confidently to upper levels.
Minister, before my colleague Mamadou Mbodj comes in, can I just pick you up on that point and whether you've been aware of the news that came out of Nigeria last week that for decades they've been using this kind of mother tongue, but they're dropping it. And it made huge news. I mean, it made news internationally. Have you looked at other countries? I know you mentioned Ghana, but Nigeria, they've been doing it for about 4 decades. And they've decided just last week that they're going to drop that. And English is going to be the language of instruction. So I just wondered whether you heard that news and whether that had given you cause to pause and think again.
Actually, I read that news to say yes, I read that news. I mean, different contexts are approaching the use of local languages differently. A failure in one country doesn't signify that the initiative is totally bad. So Nigeria is just one country that is reporting challenges in its implementation. And if you read the news, you could see also that the time it took Nigeria to implement was too short. I mean, for just a few years, you can't really come out and say that a program fails to work. Education is a very thankless effort. When you begin it, you have to give it some grace time. You have to give it some time for the impact to be seen. You can't just do it a day and the next day you expect, to get results. And I think this is something that we need to keep in mind and continue to do what we think and feel as a country is the best. And with our approach, we are hoping, and with the results we are getting from the initial assessments, we see that it will work by the grace of God. But we'll continue to keep track and monitor our progress just to ensure that we deliver it as we expect. Or as we planned, yeah.
Thank you, Minister. Mr. Mbodj has a question.
Yeah, just one question, Minister. Of course, part of the reasons for going on this tour is to measure the effect of government policy. So far on education, you've mentioned access. There have been greater access. But I wonder, what would you point to show that quality has kept pace with access?
That's right, and that is why some of the reforms that we are implementing is strategically targeting foundational education. That is to strengthen the level of understanding of the child at the foundational level, and it is through that we can enhance quality. We are aware of some of the gaps that we have in terms of quality, so. It's an issue that requires several things to be on the table, not only to strengthen the foundational learning, but also to enhance the teachers. And that's why some of our activities also are geared towards addressing the teacher gaps, and also to ensure that we have the teaching and learning materials available in the schools on time, and also to make the school environment conducive for teaching and learning. So all of this will complement each other to help us address the challenges of quality. Of course, the last is to also collaborate closely with the communities, the parents, to support the endeavor, because it's supposed to be a holistic approach to education, especially at that level. We all need to work hand in glove to ensure that we support the child to get the education that they require and the manner that we as a sector are mandated to deliver.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Minister.
Thank you for talking to us on QTV this morning.
It's my pleasure. I'm very happy to be here. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So, Ansumana Esonyasi, thank you for talking to us as well and giving us update as to what's happening. They're currently in Jarasoma, and I am pretty sure they will be heading to the Greater Banjul area today.
Yes, indeed. And we discussed that.
Indeed, Balde. Yeah. So we had the last meetings for this region last night. We had one in Sasita and then in Kaya. So we would depart Jarasoma this afternoon and would head towards the Combos, inshallah.
Yeah. All right. So thank you. Thank you very much. So what's the cap about? Why are you wearing a cap? A Jola man with a cap. Have you ever seen that? Don't be a Sarahule, please. Don't be a Sarahule, please.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I would rather be Sarahule than Pula.
All right, thank you. And so Nyasi there. Yeah. So viewers, Mr. Mamadou Mbodj, I mean, you've heard from the minister. That's really you know. A thing that should be done for there to be quality education. The question you ask, it's very important. How do we make sure quality and accessibility make peace, you know?
But also this dovetails very nicely into our next segment, of course. Yeah. That was basic.
So we're
going on to tertiary.
We are going to close this segment here. Yes. Thank you, Mr. Mamadou Mbodj, for joining us. And you know, we hope to engage you probably tomorrow.
Well, it's been the three of us the whole week, hasn't it? Isn't it?
It really has. Yeah. The three wise men.
So viewers, will be right back after the break. Then we will engage, Dr. Obi on the revolving loan scheme.
Yes,
we'll
indeed.
be back.
The student revolving.
Gilabila radiyallahu anha wadi no dingol folongol e Islam. Noddingol tawa e diine men on julɓe ɓen noddinte ɗo e ɓe yahude ɓe juula enen fof daroɗen dula goto si tawi ka jogiɗo ma ala fof juula laaɓi 5 e ñallal ngal Aji Bank Limited no welti fi tawede laaɓi 3 oɗo agent competition fi ɓe dépensamo ɓe ɓeydanamo doole ɗum ɗo ko fi tun hoolagol ko wonɗen kon ha para yiɗa daro fonka ko anduɗa ɗum ɗon woni ko hawti en kon ɗum woni hoolagol ha para noon kadi noddingol fi juulen awa tawe ɗum ɗo joni an kadi ɓeydita hen e sengo ko anduɗa ko ɗum woni noddingol waɗu vidéo joni nulda e WhatsApp hara hiɗa noddina e oɗon number 3373555 ɗo e balɗe 30 lewru December 2025 meɗen jogi yimɓe ɓe annduɗa hiɓe jogi gandal ko kamɓe darata te noon kadi min noddoya on ɗo ka QTV fi wawa yiide poɗodiron e ko ɓura andirede e final on fi wawon yiide on gañike te noon ɓe jonniray ko annduɗa ko ɗum woni certificate ji mbuuɗi kañum kadi e piiji boyi 2026 national agent competition ko Aji Bank dépensi ɗum Aji Bank yo investment partner.
nayine dake network koto mi yalonko wole warta nyim banko kan adung adabe soniaring wala nyama imuna fang telefono la mi yalonko abe seniaring adung internet wobe tariaring nyindung kiusel dorne sinyin nati aleno ibori yela kiusel line ota customer care mi suti atima bi kiusel network ko mi warta network ko beti adung adabe soniaring QCell sunu boss ntolla nga silo walang dulia bulan noma.
QCell.
So we are back. We are back. You're watching QTV this morning. I am Ibrahim Balde. Now let's talk about the Tertiary Education Trust Fund. And we have Dr. Ernest Ruben Obi, Chairman, Student Revolving Loan Scheme. It's good to have you on this program, Doctor.
Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you for coming. And just before we came on air, we were talking about, I think you were saying you went to Fabe College, is that correct?
Njala University College.
Oh, in Jala.
Sierra Leone.
Wow.
I studied agriculture.
Wonderful.
Oh,
wonderful.
yeah, agriculture.
Yeah.
So you are, as you know, we're asking the various chairs of the various schemes and the funds to come on here. This is all new to the Gambia. And of course, we want them to explain to the... So if you could first tell us, what is the Student Revolving Loan Scheme? And then what are your duties as chair?
Thank you very much, gentlemen. The Student Revolving Loan Scheme is an initiative of the government of the Gambia through the Ministry of Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology. It is established to provide financial support to Gambian students at the tertiary level so that more students can access higher education in this country, because finance is always a problem. The government has been doing well because they already have a scheme. It's not that they don't have anything.
Yeah, that's right.
They have a scholarship scheme,
Sure.
which every year they would give out scholarship to tens or hundreds of students. But it was also realized that they need to have a sustainable mechanism so that it will continue, because the scholarship scheme gives out support and it ends there.
Sure, yeah.
Yes, and the numbers have gone up. That's why I said I would start by commending the government, because all of us, even sitting here in the First Republic, you know, we had to study outside in the Gambia, and government had to pay for our studies abroad, especially in my case, it was in Sierra Leone, West Africa.
So we just want to understand what procedure are we going to put in place to make sure these funds are being paid by the students after graduating?
Thank you very much. That's another good question. I want to make it very clear that this scheme is a revolving loan scheme. And when you use the word revolving, it means that it's not for free. Yeah. If we give funding to student A, it means that at the end of his study, he will pay back to the scheme so that it can revolve. But if he or she doesn't pay back, then it doesn't revolve. You know, and if so many people come in, get the resources, benefit from it, and don't pay, then the scheme would collapse. So for the revolving loan scheme, we are going to put in mechanisms to ensure that, one, deserving students get the loan. That's the first point. Deserving students, students who meet the criteria established by MOHAS, our supervising ministry, established by the board. So we are going to ensure that we have systems in place. First, it has to be deserving student. Also, it has to be areas of national priority.
Yeah, sure.
That's very, very important. In a developing country like the Gambia and other countries, everything is important. You know, if you know what I mean. But we must have our priorities when it comes to nation building. And the board, as a matter of fact, we are having our first meeting tomorrow.
Yeah, we were going to ask about that.
Yes,
so
we're
glad
going
to
to
hear that.
Yeah, we're going to, after a week of the inauguration of the board by the Honorable Minister of Higher Education, Professor Gomez. Tomorrow we are meeting to establish a number of procedures, a number of policies. Already we have the government, the president in particular, has appointed the executive director of the scheme.
We had the executive director here.
Yes, in the passing of Dr. Samba Ba, a very brilliant young man.
That's right.
Who would be the executive director. So board would meet starting tomorrow, and we'll have subsequent meetings to ensure that we establish the policies, the operational arrangements, you know, the requirements of the scheme, the eligibility criteria, so that we get it right.
Yeah.
We want to get it right. And also it would be interesting to tell you, despite the fact that the board is meeting tomorrow, a week after inauguration, a lot of work has been going on, you know, behind the scenes to make sure that we put everything in its proper perspective.
Yes, for me, I am still interested.
Yes.
I mean, to know the procedure of payments, and at the same time, I want to know what are some of the qualifications to qualify an individual to be able to get this.
Yeah. Okay. I said earlier, board is meeting to put
the criteria
in place to determine the policy, even to determine, as I said, the priority areas and also the amounts. Because also I want to make it very clear that this scheme would be for institutions inside the Gambia.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, because the demand already is high for support. Yeah. So we cannot open it up for people outside because it would be more expensive. And
when you say for people outside, do you mean for a Gambian who wishes to study outside of the Gambia? It would not be, that would not be part of the scheme.
Yeah, it will not be part of the scheme for now. We hope that maybe in future years, when we have a lot of money, we can consider that. Because also, if we want to extend at the start to people studying outside, it costs a lot because of the foreign exchange component, etc., etc. Exactly. And what the Act says, the 2025 Act that was assented to by the President and passed by the National Assembly of the Gambia, is for students in tertiary or higher education institutions within the country.
So this was the act to establish the scheme?
Yes, we have. Yes. Yeah, we have the act.
Which went through the National Assembly.
Yeah, we have the act which went through the National Assembly, and it has been assented to by the President of the Republic of the Gambia.
So let me ask a kind of broader question.
Yes.
We've seen how this scheme has operated in many Western countries.
Yeah.
In Ireland, they've just written off the payments because for many years students in the UK it's a contentious, in America it's highly contentious, and the whole, for example, President Trump, as part of his campaign, was that he didn't believe in the kind of debt forgiveness for those. So what research have we done, and how can we make it so that it's affordably it's affordable for people to be able to pay? Do we stretch the period of payment? What's the thinking around that?
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. In coming up with this scheme, the government through MOHAST did extensive study of various schemes. You are very right. They looked at schemes in the developed world, like in the United States, in United Kingdom, Europe, but they also looked at schemes in Africa. You know, they looked at the situation in Nigeria, for example. They looked at the situation in Sierra Leone and other African countries.
I know Rwanda has.
Rwanda also. We looked at the best practices and the worst case scenario.
Quite.
Yes. yes, it is contentious in some places, but at the same time, it's working quite well.
Yes.
If the conditions are right and all parties adhere to the requirements. Because as I said, the scheme will be governed by regulations.
Yes.
You know, because remember, gentlemen, this is taxpayers' money.
Yeah, go ahead.
And in the Act, it is clearly stated that the scheme has to be sustainable.
Yeah, which is a point we were going to come
yes,
to. Yeah.
if we give out, we must receive, so that the next group of students coming up would also access.
It's revolving.
It's so that it revolves, exactly, sir.
Go ahead.
So we are going to put regulations in place. And in the board, we even have the Solicitor General and Legal Secretary of Government who would guide us, you know, on the legal requirements of such a scheme. What we want to have in this country is to have a scheme that would be sustainable. We want to have a scheme that would not be a burden. Because you cited the case of the United States. You know, we don't want a scheme that would be a burden on the young graduates or their parents. So we want to have a very good balance. But equally too, when we have the scheme, the beneficiaries, which is us Gambians, should respect the agreements because in this country we've had good initiatives from the First Republic up to date, but some of those initiatives died a natural death
quite.
within the shortest possible time because people did not comply with the requirements of those schemes. And it fizzled out in no time. We don't want that. The mandate given to board and the management team is to have a scheme that is sustainable. It should outlive me as the chairman or the minister or the executive director so that generations unborn can come and benefit from such a scheme. So we'll be having regulations. So,
it's part of the sustainability, the fact that it's not all going to come from the government coffers. You're reaching out to others to actually fund the scheme. So it's not all coming. Otherwise, if it's going to be complete, and that's the contention in America, because it's all government, you know, and that's why, you know, presidents can come and say, you know, I'm going to do away the scheme, or I'm not going to do away the scheme. But we're actually trying to get funds from everywhere we can. Is that correct?
Yes, it is very correct. The government would be providing seed capital. A few weeks ago, the minister and his team went to the National Assembly to defend the proposed budget for 2026, which includes allocations for the scheme.
That's right.
Yes. So government would provide seed capital, but it would not stop there. They are taking the lead, and I want to publicly commend them for taking the initiative. So as a board and a management, we have to look at issues of sustainability. We have to open up the funding of the scheme. So we'll be knocking at the doors of the private sector, of individuals, of development partners. We, the board, would be looking at a sustainability strategy. And also, I want to take this opportunity to appeal to all Gambians. No amount is too small.
As our chairman said
to invest in education.
The inauguration.
And I'm coming to that.
Right.
The Q Group of Company, under the leadership of Mr. Mohamed Jah, who is also a chair of the Higher Education Fund, indicated during the inauguration of the board that even $10, you know, to quote him directly, is accepted. Every person or Gambian, the private sector, individuals, should chip into this fund because it is going to benefit our children. It's going to have a multiplier effect. Sure. If you train an engineer, a broadcaster, a journalist, a medical doctor, an agronomist in agriculture, through this scheme, sure, that person is not just going to benefit himself as an individual, sure, he or she will benefit the nation. Yeah. He or she will benefit his family and community. So it's collective. And also, we should be appreciative as Gambians. When people do good things, let us say it. I want, on behalf of my own board, which is the Revolving Loan Scheme Board and the management, I want to take the opportunity to thank Mr. Mohamed Jah for pledging $5 million towards the revolving loan scheme. Sure. And want to assure him and the public that this money would be used judiciously for the scheme. With this and whatever we're getting from government and other partners, we hope to use it judiciously in a very accountable manner, transparency. Sure. And again, I must state that whatever we do as a board for this scheme, and I'm sure it's the same with the other funding mechanisms, fairness would be the order of the day, transparency and accountability. But it should be very clear that there will be rules. Right. Because it's not free money. Yeah, as you cited the United States, there's no free lunch, or free coke, as they say. So we want to establish it so that generations of Gambians coming after us would benefit. So we appreciate what Mr. Jah has done and pray for his continued success.
Thank you
and
very
Q
much.
Group.
Yes. Thank you, Chairman.
I will be sending my own suggestions as well about reaching out to the diaspora to get them involved, as they've done in Rwanda.
Yeah. Thank you very much for coming. Okay. I would have asked, if students of private universities also will benefit from this, fund.
That's a very good question. The act which governs our operations doesn't specify whether it's public or private. Okay. But we would also, since they are Gambians, we would see how best to incorporate both the public and the private. But we have to have the proper regulations, we have to have the proper guidelines, because as I said, this is public funds, and also the Good Samaritans like Mr. Jah and others who will be supporting. So the board would take a position on the spread.
Thank you.
Of it.
Thank you very much, Chairman, for coming. Mr. Adedrame, this is all we have for today. We'll be back here tomorrow on another edition of QTV This Morning. Until then, enjoy the rest of our programs. Bye.
Thank you.